What's going on, everyone? Omar here. Today's video, I wanted to talk about the mind-muscle connection and how thinking about the mind-muscle connection by having your mind and the muscle, when you contract it, I can actually build muscle. Now, maybe it might not make a lot of sense to you, but having the mind-muscle connection can really increase hypertrophy and can really stimulate the muscle in ways you can't even imagine. But before I get into it, what is the mind-muscle connection? What is that? What the mind-muscle connection is where when you squeeze the muscle on a particular exercise, let's take, for example, cable flies. And you're doing a cable fly and you really want to work your chest muscles. That's the target muscle. When you bring your arms together and you're working the chest muscles, focusing on that contraction and really narrowing in and really contracting the chest muscles as you come and as you squeeze the muscle, that's the mind-muscle connection, where your mind is in the muscle itself. You're thinking about and your attention is completely focused on contracting that muscle and having 100% full control and intention of the particular muscle that you're looking to build. By contracting, really squeezing that muscle and really focusing in on that muscle on every single rep for every single set, you're going to increase hypertrophy. Now, I said this before in another video about the concentric phase, which is the positive phase, and the eccentric phase, which is negative phase, and lowering the muscle. One thing I want to emphasize is if you want to really have a good mind-muscle connection, you both have to do it on the eccentric phase and on the concentric phase, or should I say the concentric phase and also on the eccentric phase. And you want to do that to really squeeze the muscle, to really resist the muscle, and especially the eccentric phase, because it's often overlooked. Because people think it's really all about the concentric phase, positive phase, and then once they get to the negative phase, they just release. But you're losing the benefit by squeezing and really resisting gravity or resisting the negative. You're going to build more muscle that way, both on the positive side and the often overlooked negative side. Now, some people think, oh, it's just the burn, it's just lactic acid. No, it's not just lactic acid. It's mechanical tension. And when you have mechanical tension, absent of momentum, that's where you build muscle. That's where you have muscle activation. And so, if you're going to do the mind-muscle connection, one thing to also keep in mind is don't go super heavy. You want control over the weight that you want to lift. Now, this is where people get caught up in the whole ego lifting situation where, let's say you're in the gym, you see the guy to the right of you and the guy to the left of you and the guy to the front of you and the guy in the back of you, all lifting all super heavy weights. And maybe you might get motivated by that, or maybe you just want to not look like the weakest link in the gym. And so you're going to try to lift as much as these guys are, even though you might have intended to go there to have full control of the weight and utilize this mind-muscle connection philosophy, but instead your ego got the best of you and now you want to lift heavy weight, not caring about the mind-muscle connection, even though you want hypertrophy. The downside of that is, well, number one, if you're going to lift weight more than you can handle, you could potentially get injured, and that's the last thing that you want. Not only will it kill your motivation, but it'll really kill your ability to even do this exercise for weeks, even months. And it'll really just destroy your entire motivation to go to the gym. When you're going to do mind-muscle connection, the target range that I would recommend is somewhere between 8 to 15 reps. And I say that because that's a sweet spot, and it allows for enough variety from the low end to the high end for you to really get quality mind-muscle connection contractions. It's the quality, the squeeze of both the concentric and the eccentric phase on every rep, instead of proving to maybe other gym goers who you don't even know, proving that you can push all this weight. This channel is not about powerlifting. We're not competing here to lift the heaviest weight in the Olympics in Los Angeles 2028. Well, it's 2026 now for those of you trying to become powerlifters. This is not that channel. This channel is about building muscle and hypertrophy, not competing in a powerlifting competition in the Olympics. Now, I just want to talk about some tips to help you with a mind-muscle connection. Before you start on your first set on trying to get that mind-muscle connection, what you should do is do some preliminary practice reps. Very lightweight. You're just going to focus in on the technique, focus in on that proprioceptive movement, and focus on the squeeze. Just to get 1 or 2 practice sets in there, very lightweight, just to accustom yourself to the type of feeling that you're going to have, so you can really focus in on the type of muscle that you're trying to squeeze. That's the main thing. Once you have that connection after 1 or 2 sets, then you can start going heavy because you've practiced the rep, you've warmed up the muscles, you already have in your mind the muscles that you're going to fire, and now you can go heavy and you can really squeeze. So this type of mind-muscle connection can work in any part of your body based on the target muscle that you're trying to work. For instance, you want to do a chest exercise. You do a cable fly. You focus in on the chest. Once you do a squeeze, and let's say you want to do a back exercise. Let's say it's a cable row. You really want to focus on grabbing the cable and squeezing your lats as you pull in. Or let's say you want to do a squat. You focus on your glutes and on your quads. If it's a regular back barbell squat, yes, you can come down, okay, and then drive the weight up by squeezing your glute muscles and really contracting the gluteus maximus muscles. Or if you want to focus on your quads, you can do a hack squat or a deadlift also. It'll focus on your quads and also your hamstrings as well, and your glutes. It focuses and works on a lot of different muscles, which is why I like deadlifts. And you can practice on squeezing your glutes, squeezing your quads, and another one is your calves. A lot of people complain how, oh, I can't build my calves. Yes, you can use the mind-muscle connection for your calves as well. And that's one of the muscles, especially for me, that has been very stubborn in that I did not have a mind-muscle connection. I would come down with my calves and I would use that stretch reflex to bounce up, but I'm introducing momentum into that muscle, which essentially it's not even building muscle, you're just using momentum to just bounce up and down. So you want to slow it down. Let's say it's a calf raise, either a standing or a seated calf raise. I prefer standing calf raise. I just feel I get better muscle activation. You go down and you slow down the weight. That way, when you slow down the weight, you get mechanical tension. And when you get mechanical tension, that's where you get 100% or as close to 100% of full maximum control of that weight. And when you have maximum control, you get more time under tension, and that is where the muscle is being broken down. That's where you get the most contraction, especially when you can feel it. That's the mind-muscle connection. You can actually feel the squeeze. You can actually feel that contraction, feel that activation. That's how you know you have it. It's quality over ego lifting and focusing on lifting more and more every week. So give that a try. Give that mind-muscle connection a try. Like I said, for the first 1 or 2 reps, focus on the movement. Focus on the muscle. Ask yourself before you begin, what muscle is this exercise intended for me to work on? Because for a lot of beginners, and a lot of people watching this channel are probably beginners, you have to understand and know what muscle you're working on a particular exercise. And it's not obvious to a lot of people, but my hope is that on this channel, I'm going to help educate you, inform you on what exercises to perform and what targeted muscles you're looking to build based on the particular exercise. And I'll get into that in a separate video, and I'll go into the best exercise for chest, for back, for shoulders, for abs, for glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves. I'll go all into that in future videos. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, as I've always said. Share this video if you found it helpful and you find that others might find it helpful. And if you really like this content, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.